Hello everyone and welcome to Press TV's Top 5. The US spying scandal is taking a new turn. Now, high-ranking officials of the US intelligence community say that European intelligence agencies spied on phone records and then shared them with US agencies. Testifying before the House Intelligence Committee, General Keith Alexander, the director of the National Security Agency, dismissed reports that NSA spies scooped up millions of phone records in Europe, saying they are, quote, completely false. He stated that in many cases, European intelligence agencies accessed phone records and passed them on to the NSA. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the Wall Street Journal reported that the intelligence agencies of France and Spain carried out electronic spying operations outside their own borders and then passed the information to the US. The United States' European allies angrily protested after the leaks by a former US intelligence contractor showed that Washington collected tens of millions of telephone calls and online communications in Europe. Well, let's put this into context now. Let's talk to Hamid Golpira, journalist and political commentator from Tehran. Welcome to the program, sir. Mr. Golpira, 3 decades ago, it was Iran that said America was spying from its Tehran embassy on all regional countries. Now the US spying activities appear to be bothering even America's closest allies. I mean, where do you think the spy scandal is heading?
Well, it's hard to predict, but I mean, people begin to see now like how broad and how vast all of these surveillance activities are. So something is happening, and it definitely is a total surveillance world. It is an Orwellian total surveillance world. Like Orwell said in his book, Big Brother is watching. It's becoming exactly like the book 1984, which is a problem. And people didn't want it to become like this. At least most people didn't want it to become like this, except for the people who are creating this kind of world. But it is a problem. And myself, I'm just thinking, you know, I think to myself, like the things that we don't know that have not been revealed might be even more outrageous than what is being discovered now.
And do you think Western leaders, I mean the European ones and of course the Latin American ones, were unaware of the fact that they were being monitored by the US, or they just had to come up with an angry reaction to respond to public demands?
Well, those people are, you know, they're in politics, they're in international relations. They know that surveillance and spying, espionage is something that happens. It's been going on for thousands of years. You know, like espionage was mentioned in The Art of War by Sun Tzu 2,500 years ago. It probably happened before then, and it's happening in the future. I'm sure they were not completely unaware of at least the possibility of such a thing. Like maybe the exact details of exactly what that they were doing, like that they might be bugging or were bugging Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, her cell phone. Some of those details might have been new to them. I think those details probably were new, but I think that the general idea that it was a possibility that various intelligence agencies, whether it be the United States or Russia or the old Soviet Union or China or France or whoever, I'm sure they at least had some idea that these kind of things were going on.
And what impact would these revelations in this spying scandal have on Washington's relations with its European partners?
Well, in some regard, it could create some relations that are strained,
especially in the economic sector, because I mean there were revelations that the US spied on bank transfers of Europeans.
Well, that brings into play the idea of industrial espionage, where it's not just like some kind of spying in order to obtain some kind of political information, but maybe some trade secrets or something that's going to be patented in the future, or some kind of insider trading information. So that brings another aspect into it, the fact that was happening too. But I think overall, I mean, on the surface, you're going to have political leaders and they have their difficulties. But personally, I think a lot of these intelligence agencies, these spy agencies, are somehow working together. So and often they're operating on a different level even than their head of government or head of state. It's often the case, at least in many countries, where what the intelligence agencies are doing is not known to the head of state or head of government. Even they're a government unto themselves. They're a law unto themselves. The CIA has acted like that. in the United States. The NSA is doing things. I mean, you could say the KGB in the old Soviet Union was also involved in certain activities. So these kind of agencies can take on a life of their own because they live in this kind of nether world. Everything is clandestine. Everything is this nether world, of espionage, so to say. So that, and there are less controls on them. So they begin to get out of control, and they are out of control.
Indeed. Well, we'll leave it there for the time. Many thanks to Tammy Golpira, journalist and political commentator from Tehran. Thanks for your time there, sir.